Hello and welcome to District Dialogue, a podcast powered by the Community Foundation. Today I am joined by Baine Floyd. Baine Floyd serves as a career and technical education instructor at Coats Erwin Middle School in Dunn, North Carolina. Baine, thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure. I really love to start off with a little bit of your background, what inspires you into education, and then really just the process itself as it relates to you leading into or getting into the career and technical education pathway itself.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was born and raised in Roanoke, Virginia. Went to, went through school, graduated from Radford University. When I graduated, I actually graduated as exercise science and health education with a concentration of health physical education teaching.
Nice.
Odd part, I haven't taught a day of it in my life. Went through. So went down, was looking for jobs in the area. And at the time, health and physical education jobs, that was tough competition. And so the area up there, a lot of schools I was told you're looking at a 3 to 5 year wait.
Whoa, wow.
With no experience to find one of those. It's like for a teaching job? No. And I didn't particularly want to move. So I was convinced to move by following a girl down, a girlfriend at the time, following her to North Carolina. I know, always the crazy yappy stories of I followed her down. We broke up about a year later with that. And I had ended up meeting someone at a conference. I met Charlotte Cronky at a conference, and she was working at Fuquay Arena High School at the time. And so he said, hey, we don't have this position open, but you could come sub. And so I went in there, I subbed, and I substituted third day of school for a marketing education class.
Cool.
Oh. Sub through. Yeah, so it was marketing education. I had no clue what I was talking about. I looked through, I was like, you know what? I'll fake it till I make it.
Yep.
I faked it enough. They offered me a full teaching position. I was like, wow, that's a great way of faking it.
Yeah, big time.
So got through there, was ready to rock and roll with that. Essentially told I was the last in, first out when I had the shot to get to move over.
Wow.
So it was like one of those, is like, okay, I'll bomb this one. Ended up over going to middle school, going to Carroll Magnet Middle School. Was there for 2 years, and quite frankly, I lost the love for teaching.
Oh no!
I lost love for teaching. I lost love for teaching. I watched myself in 2 years with the climate and the culture just become an awful human being. Awful human being. The people I was around, the group I was around, I watched myself nosedive, and I got to the point I hated being around there. Culture wasn't great. A lot of long hours. A lot of, for lack of a better term, kind of abuse that happened. Teachers and making them think that certain things were acceptable when we wouldn't accept in our own daily lives with that. So I got out and I was like, okay, what do I do next? I got out, decided, okay, maybe it's time to go to the fitness field. Okay, we're just going to go with this. And before you know it, I had started a little bit with Camp Gladiator, built out own camp, said, okay, 445 still not for me. I then got into sales with it. And so I jumped from being in, from coaching to fitness sales to being a general manager to eventually then working along franchise sales.
Nice. Okay.
So I got along those lines. Well, I got burned out with that. My wife was tired of me not being home a bunch. We were looking to buy a house and everything. We bought a house at that point. And I got through and I was like, okay, what am I going to do next? It's like, my marriage is a little bit more important than any job that I have. Yeah. And shockingly enough, spot opened up. And so a little backstory on it, Coats Erwin Middle School, my wife's she student taught there in 2014. They happened to have a position open. I didn't find out about the position until I'd heard this, they'd had a couple bomb threats. They made the news. The worst thing in the world was, hey, I'm going to go apply as a joke. I'm just going to apply. No worries. Nothing serious. Yeah, I walk in, I interview, I get the job on the spot.
Awesome.
Offered on the spot. I accepted it. I had second thoughts about it. There was another position that opened up that was sales wise. I went and took it and said, nah, I'm not coming back into teaching. Yeah. Haha. Just kidding. Bye-bye.
Okay.
2 weeks in a sales position. Hated it.
Yeah.
Going back in this rough place again. I actually called a principal back, called Sharon Johnson. I call her back and I say, hey, is that position still open? I made a mistake.
Wow.
I made a mistake.
Alhamdulillah, I love
That
that.
position was still open. It ended up starting. And I mean, since then, it's been a kind of roller coaster ride, but it's been a fun ride that continue to do each and every day. I mean, we actually just got off a long day yesterday where I had classes,
Hmm.
had coached a volleyball game, and right after
Oh,
the volleyball game, we had our annual Monster Mash that was there. So I got home about 8:30. While woke up this morning, wonder why I was so sore. Put in 24,500 steps. Said, "Oh, okay, I think I'll rest today."
oh smokes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'm still sore, so I still got to stretch it out at some point.
I can understand. And what is Monster Mash? I just caught my ear. What is that?
Yeah, Monster Mash. So every year they do a fundraiser for the technology departments. Third year they've done it to
Nice.
raise funds to help out with making sure that we can keep up and fix the technology we do have, but be
Cool.
able to get some more, not just for students and for teachers. So it benefits the entire school system, or not school system, but it benefits our entire school to do it. And Monster Mash, you've got a trunk or treat outside. You have a little carnival like atmosphere that happens in our
Makes sense.
cafeteria. I just happen to run the cakewalk, which involves me being loud, being
Yeah.
sometimes obnoxious. In fact, we were going pulling, they're going walking around, they stop on their cakewalk. I go around to mostly people I know, but sometimes some random strangers, go introduce myself. Some of
Hmm.
them probably think I'm weird. I did one where I told the mom, I put the bucket on top of somebody's head and told the mom to pick it out from there. Like that, just complete entertainment, complete showsmanship. But every last bit of those dollars go back towards technology. So they'd have, that's their big fundraiser. And I mean, quite frankly, we just have a good time doing it. Good
Yeah,
time
that
serving
sounds
the
awesome.
community that way.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And yeah, we ourselves are. We have a younger. My son is actually just turning one, and so we're getting engaged in the different activities. And so the trunk or treat piece is actually on our radar and our schedule for the next week or so. So that sounds fun.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, my son's 7.5 months old, so we're not too far.
Awesome. Yeah.
We're not too far away at all, man.
I love it. I love it. And so, kind of digging into Coats Erwin Middle, love to hear based on your perspective, how you all engage in that career and college ready conversation as a whole. Of course, CTE itself is something that we love here at the Community Foundation. We find that to be one of the more innovative, even though it's not new, more impactful ways to integrate education and career ready skills. But how do you all do it at your institution, your school?
Yeah. So how we do it now is so I'm the only CTE teacher there.
Okay.
I'm it. Like
Yeah.
there's only so much again, only one person can do. But with the 7th and 8th grade students, we have a STEM lab. They
Nice.
go
Yeah.
through. I've got right now 17 different modules that they could have a chance to experience. So
Fun.
there's three that are not as hands-on, but the other 14 completely hands-on that they can go through, they can experience, just to get that little bit of a touch.
Hmm.
Um, as far as seeing if it's a career aspect they want to go to, seeing if they find a good hobby from it, or just practicing a new skill set.
Yeah.
And so we do it a lot through there, and we've only had the lab 2 years.
Mm.
So when I started there, the curriculum essentially was coding, and we had what were the Pittsco. They were kind of like labs, but they were all guided as an entire class, and so whole class would be on the same curriculum.
Got it.
They brought it in 2 years. They brought it in 2 years ago. When they first brought it in, we had all this miscommunication. We had a new CTE director at the time. All this miscommunication. I went to the conference that September where I was learning all about the labs, and I thought I was going to have to teach the labs on top of coding, on top of keyboarding, on top of new curriculum. I was like, 5 preps, screw this. Like my whole face said, I'm done with teaching here. And once we got all that miscommunication out of the way, we got the labs, and then as they were starting to build it up, kids were getting excited. And I said, okay, like, I see what they're talking about. So some are freaked out by the mannequin heads. No big deal. I would be too.
Yeah.
Or like you see the hands, and I actually could like take the hand and come up behind somebody's shoulder, make it think it's me. And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, just give them that, just to weird them out. But as they were starting to put it together, it's like, okay, this could be fun. And so within our classroom, the last couple years, we had gotten to a point where we have anywhere from 10 to 13, sometimes 14 labs running simultaneously at the
Wow.
same time. 2 to 3 people within each, mostly 2 people, but 2 to 3 people within each lab.
Mhm.
And every single one of them is going. Whether it's doing vocab, whether it's doing a hands-on activity, whether
Mhm.
it's watching a couple videos that give them that extra piece of career skill, or for some of them, I require narrative writing on most of
Yeah.
those labs.
Nice.
So that narrative writing, they've got to put, they've got to follow the prompt, and they've got to take what they've learned from the lab. And I always tell them, you've got to write it as if I'm a dum-dum. You've got to get me to understand your point. And if I ask questions towards what you have, you need to explain it further.
Yeah.
With it. And the kids actually take on that challenge really well. And for those that say they don't have great writing skills, they've come out with some really good pieces without using AI.
I love that. Yeah.
They've come out with really good writing skills and able to explain stuff out there. And that's the whole purpose of it to me is, can you educationally teach somebody else what you've learned during your time in that specific lab?
Big time. My mother would always challenge me to say, how do you know it unless you can reteach it to someone else? Right. And so I quite literally take that into my daily walk still to this day. So I love that. And you have middle schoolers, which I know CTE programs aren't often as familiar or frequent at that age group. How are you seeing students of not only that age, but students all across the board respond to hands-on and career exploration versus maybe even the traditional education tracks?
Absolutely. They love it. They love it. It's their, for some of them, it's their 35, 40 minutes by the time they get to me, 45-minute opportunity just to go do something different, to where they don't have to sit behind a desk, listen to somebody for 6 minutes. Even if they feel like they have an activity there, they feel stuck. Yeah. And so I always like to give the explanation, like, imagine if you went to a 60-minute meeting, then you had a 2-minute break and you went to another 60-minute meeting. You have a 2-minute break and, okay, I'm going to go to lunch, but I got to walk single file. Then I got to go to another 60-minute meeting. Like after a while, like even us as adults, like we would look at that and say our day sucks. Yeah. And so by the time they get to me, they don't have to just go through and sit there. They've got something that they can manipulate. They got, sometimes in that school, and it might sound mind-boggling, they've got to be in a different area where I don't supervise them. I cannot just keep my eyes on them. Mm-hmm. And so they will have had to build an area of trust to be able to do those activities in which I don't have to supervise them. And luckily, there's one, it's with Intro to Child Development. They actually wash the little plastic baby. Yeah, wow. They're going to go through that. Well, I have a little sink that's in the lab, but it's not really sufficient for doing it. So I actually walk them down. So you can imagine it's scary. I actually leave my class. I walk them down and I unlock the kitchen that our exceptional children use. That's right beside it. They go in and I'm glad nobody's had a soap fight yet or water on each other, bubble fights. That has not happened. They go in, they respect the other class. They go through, they wash their baby, take care of it, dry him off, bring them back and have a complete experience with it. And so they get there and they know that they're able to do that. But there's other things also with keeping the lab clean. I tell them it's not our custodian's responsibility to keep the lab clean. It's yours. And I'm not cleaning up behind you. If it looks like a mess, you guys will clean it. So they're off cleaning. Sometimes they're at their labs and they're like, okay, I finished a good portion of it. Okay, go sweep my room. Hey, go find the custodians, go get them up. Well, it's your responsibility. It's your area, it's your community, it's your space. How are you going to take care of it? So there's a lot of those aspects that are in there too that I think are missed. Mm-hmm. Especially when we're talking middle school, where we have the foundation blocks of trying to figure out something for their career or really just help them build skills that they take that they need to have for high school when they get to a lot of those CTE courses. And just to kind of give you a stat on it, 90% of the students that leave middle school, go to high school in Harnett County, take a CTE course. Oh. So they've got to have those skills ready to go in order to be successful up there, to get their certifications, to do the different classes they want to, or come out again with something where they can go straight to a job at 18 and be, a beneficial person to society and to their own family.
Yeah, I love that. And that was actually going to be one of the things I was going to maybe speak towards next. Yep. Walk me through what are some of the main objectives of the CTE programming. It sounds like they get a great chance to just kind of relax their shoulders and express themselves. Mm-hmm. But what are you hoping always happens, no matter the discipline with these types of experiences?
Yeah. So what always happens is that they find themselves, they learn something from it, but they also look back and see it as something enjoyable. And again, not just, oh, I got to be here. Oh, it's 35, 40 minutes of just sitting here yapping to Mr. Floyd. If I talk more than 90 seconds in the lab, there's a problem. Wow. If I talk more than 90 seconds, there's a problem. And usually I mean, I walk in and I'm gonna end up being loud, but I walk in, it's like, all right, good morning, good morning.
There you go.
Sometimes it's like, hey, I need your eyes up here, lips closed. And they know I say it one time only. That's it. After that, it's not so nice. But I give them the instructions real quick. Say, hey, I'm going to get around to each lab. If you have an activity, when I get there, I'll let you know it's green light. Cool. And the most I get thumbs up and we're going. That's it.
Love that. Yeah.
Everybody else is going around, and I'm going to each station, trying to help them out. Sometimes I tell them priority. So we've got one that's intro to culinary arts. It's like, okay, culinary arts is priority. They're making no bake energy bites. Let's be real. We don't make crap in the lab. We're going to make sure that doesn't come out that way.
Yeah.
Or like veterinary medicine. And I know this scares some people, but veterinary medicine, they have a phlebotomy section where they draw fake blood from a simulated area.
Yeah.
They draw fake blood. It's like, hey, they've got priority. They're going to have a needle in hand. Cosmetology's got priority day. They're going to have razors. They're shaving the balloon. So that's all I give them.
That's
After
great.
that, all of that is their work time. And the questions they're not allowed to ask are, what do I do and how do I do this?
Ah.
I do not. I look at them. I said, not my job. It's independent. It's independent with your partner. You figure it out. So they have to use critical thinking skills to go through. And the nice part about the activities, if they screw them up, whoop-de-doo-dah day. I tell them, if you're going to mess it up here.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. I mean, I've had students pop balloons. Okay, we'll go get a new one. No big deal. I've had students accidentally mess up stuff, just like dropping glass. Okay, don't pick it up with your bare hands. If you're bleeding, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
With that stuff. Or like I had one, oh gosh, now I think about it. Wednesday, I had two girls that they were setting up for shaving the balloon. They didn't think about the fact that you might need water to rinse out the razor. Well, as I turn around, they're trying so hard to like figure out how to clean the razor and how to get the shaving cream off. And before you know it, there's shaving cream down the legs. They've got their hands covered in shaving cream. I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah.
And of course, most people, you look at that and you're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's like, okay, no. You're just screwing around. No.
It's their first experience.
They needed water.
Yeah.
Like, you read the instructions with it. Do you see the thing down there that says, no, I saw that part. Why don't you go clean up real quick? We'll restart this again. And
yeah, that's great.
And that's one of those good things of the lab. They can mess up as long as they attempt the activity. That's where they get the grade on one part. Just attempt it. You mess it up, great. Just attempt it. And there's a lot of times they truly mess it up, and it's okay.
Yeah. Well, so you mentioned a few things already. I heard culinary, of course, coding, cosmetology. You mentioned was with phlebotomy within more of the
with veterinary medicine. Yeah, let me see if I can get around. I'll see if I can get around to all of them. I'm trying to picture my lab now. So there's veterinary medicine. There's intro to health science careers.
Cool.
There's emergency and fire management services, electricity and electronics, design and marketing, hospitality and tourism, home maintenance fundamentals, home maintenance systems, criminalistics, welding basics, intro to child development, intro to culinary arts, flight and drone we just added. We're still experimenting with that one. Flight and drone, really, really cool one.
Yeah.
Environment and ecology, cosmetology and barbering. Those are the hands-on ones. Oh, I'm sorry. Computer graphics and game animation. That was another new one we added last year. Kids love that.
I love that. Yeah.
They absolutely love that. And then we've got non-hands-on ones. If they prove that they can't be trusted or they can't handle some of those activities and need an alternative route, we've also got intro to computer science. That's the coding piece. Personal finance and intro to engineering and design.
Wow. Yeah.
So I mean, all those different labs, as I said, anything up to about 14 labs can be running at any one time in that room. So it looks like unorganized chaos is the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. I shouldn't say unorganized. It's organized chaos, but it's the most beautiful thing you've ever seen right there when you see it in action.
That's great, I guess. And how many of those are you familiar with that actually matriculate into the high school realm? Is that all those each one of those labs something that a student can follow up with in high school, or is there a more nuanced or selective route?
No, almost every single one of them they can follow up with.
That's
so like culinary, like their feeder high school has a foods program. They've got a life skills program that has the child development piece. Intro to health sciences. They actually, in fact, one of the teachers over that now, I taught with her a couple years ago, and she
Yeah.
wanted to move with her child up to be there with her for high school, but she teaches a lot of those health science courses now. That's over there. So a lot of them, they have a direct path forward with that. Anything with coding has got a direct path
Yeah, sure.
with it. So they can see that. And again, they can kind of just get like a 2-3 week touch on it in middle school and know it's something they enjoy, but they can also get a lot of different places too and see like, hey, do I enjoy it? Or sometimes they come back and be like, this lab is awful. And I said, okay, great. It's like, you're only here a couple weeks. It's not that painful. Oh,
Yeah.
well, it happens, but they at least get the experience of it, and they can educate, and they can truly say like, no, I hate this.
Yeah.
Not far. And you'd be surprised how many boys go towards cosmetology and barbering. And they're like, actually, this is kind of fun. I kind of like painting the nails and putting them on there. And it's like doing the hair. Like, I could pick up a girl at this point. It's like, you keep telling yourself that, but go for it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, work with it. I love that. No, this is great. And that's a lot of offerings. And the fact that they can, again, progress from there, that's key. Love that. And you even have the data that you mentioned in the 9%, actually do progress to high school to do that.
Right.
What have you identified as some of the challenges? I understand, of course, students may not understand and they might mess up. But separate from that, what are some of the challenges with really implementing or introducing some of these types of labs?
Sure. So biggest one is inventory.
Yeah. Okay.
By far, because you think all those different labs have a separate set of inventory that goes along with it. So a lot of times something will run out. And like if I go put a purchase order in, as I said, people at Harnett County CTE, they are wonderful. They're wonderful this, but I know sometimes I put a purchase order in. It's not that they reject it. It's the time frame and the paperwork they have to go through to go get an item. And I mean, again, with all those different labs, it is easy to miss something. It is easy to miss something real quick and be like, hey, something ran out. I'm like, crap. Yeah, it happens. It happens. Like not all of those labs are perfect by any means of the imagination. So inventory becomes a big thing with it. For a lot of people who try to teach that lab, it is the fact that all of those are running simultaneously, because you don't want to really, there's not many of them that you want to just target one and then bulk buy all the pieces and then have everybody there knowing that by the time you do that, you'd be spending a lot more money in those bulk pieces and doing that versus letting them get that little taste, letting them get the little touch. But then you start to get to almost to a micromanaging type feel. When you do that. So, but for some people, they can't handle that stimuli. So like my wife, she gets overstimulated very quickly. And so she'll see that. And, one kid might be asking for pieces for one lab while another one's asking for one lab while one's trying to get, like in criminalistics, like I've got to go unlock the computer for them and show them where their stuff is. Like all of that happening at once, like not that. I don't feel like the average individual prepares himself well for that, but also realize like, hey, like these kids are going to ask you every 5 seconds for something because guess what? They actually need it. Yeah. And it's not always, what do I do and how do I do it? It's, I need this. I need this. Hey, do we have this for this lab? Hey, I'm missing this for this lab. Should it be in there? And going to check those different things, or like flight and drone. There's a thing where they build a rocket and they actually have to shoot the rocket off.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So they shoot the rocket off. So where do they got to go? They got to go outside for it.
Yeah.
I got to make sure they're in the spot outside that I can still see them from the window.
Yeah. So
they can go shoot the rocket. And I mean, from there, from at least where they're shooting it from, they shoot it across the parking lot.
Nice. Wow.
It's a good solid. We measured it. The furthest rocket went about 170 feet distance wise. So I got to know at least they're going out there. And it's like, okay, but you got to be somewhere where at least you're within my sight.
Yep.
When we're shooting stuff, and you can't go too far up, because if you're too far up, we're shooting into the potato field across fence. And we're not about to jump the fence to go do that. They're going to think we're stealing their sweet potatoes, and we got even more problems with that. So that I know with some of the middle schools, logistics is an issue of how to fit through. Because like my classroom is really nice and set, where it's essentially 2 rectangle areas.
Got it.
That is set off with, where other schools, like you just have tables. And so you have tables and you have cabinets that are set around, and I'll look at them. I'm like, I'm sorry, I almost don't know how to help you on this one, because my setup is beautiful, and maybe you leave it on this table. So then you have places for kids, try to get places for kids to work. But those are really only the tough things that come with it. Everything else just kind of flies
Yeah.
within itself. But I know the average teacher
Mhm.
would struggle with the amount of stimuli that flows with it because they cannot sit there quietly and do that. It is not meant to be quiet.
No, you
It
mentioned
is
it's organized chaos. Yeah.
exactly. It is meant for them to talk. And so, sometimes somebody's hammering into drywall. That's
Hmm.
going on with that. Somebody's doing CPR on a dummy. That thing is loud.
Yeah.
How do I embrace it? I get loud with them, tell them they got to save little Johnny's life. Like,
Jump
I'm
right
looking at
in.
this, like, you got to save their life. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, let's
He's
do
dying. They go through,
it.
it's like, it's like, okay, like, that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, no, that's fun. And I think that's the exact same energy that also, again, attracts them right back to these programs and helps them feel like, okay, this is a space that I'm not going to only learn, but I get to color outside the lines a bit, if you will. So yeah,
Exactly.
that's
Exactly.
awesome. You mentioned two things that really caught my attention. You mentioned, of course, drones as well as the, game design and animation. Lean into those. Again, our focus is a lot more of the digital side as well. How are those going? What are some of the objectives for each of those programs?
Absolutely. So with the drone, we're still really testing it out. We got the lab last month.
Mm,
We finally
uh,
had one eighth grade group break into it. And
okay.
so with the drone, there's the very simple build of the drone, but a lot of it really focuses back to the programming and understanding how to fly the drone.
Yeah.
And so when they get there, the program really helps them out there. It's an EC300 drone, easy setup.
Hmm.
Um, but it's understanding how to have it, how to level off the drone and taper it off to where it is flat, understanding the propellers and the direction they need to go up.
Hmm.
With that, I can tell you now, I struggled with that big time because I was the first one to wreck it.
That's
Those
real.
two didn't even do it. Those two didn't even do it. I saw it, and I mean, it was catching and it was drifting to the right, and I'm like, go left, go left. It kept drifting. I was like, well, go down, go down. And before you know it, I crushed the cabinet, threw a propeller off, and I was like, I got two more. Okay, we're gonna be okay.
Yep. Yep.
Fixing that. So there is mainly that in the programming is the biggest piece, but understanding how to fly the drone.
Hmm.
With it, again, a nice, very simple design. The computer graphics game animation is a little different. So the biggest focus there is on platformer type games. And so they'll have the platformer game. They play the game first, and
Good.
they
Okay.
understand how the game functions. And from there, that's when they start to get into the back end. And from the back end, there are different pieces that they want them to manipulate. And so Paxton Patterson doesn't tell them how to manipulate it necessarily. It's a matter of here's what you need to manipulate it. Here's like kind of the basic blocks, but move around with it a little bit and see how you wish to do that to kind of make the game yours.
Nice.
And so they'll do that. And a lot of them get stuck. Day 3 is the first time they're on it. A lot of them get stuck on that because they're like, well, now I want to test this out. Okay, now I want to test this out. Now I want to test this out. And it's like, if you spend 3-4 days on it, whatever, like you're still engaged.
Yeah. No, that's cool. And I love that. And what platform are they using for that? For
So they're using
the
Game
design?
Maker for it.
Okay.
They're using Game Maker. So Game Maker was one of the easier ones that we started with Unity. And
Yeah.
Unity it was not friendly for what we needed to do at school.
Very
Every
robust.
time we turned around, there was something we couldn't pull up. There was something that Cloudflare on Harnett County's like technology side was blocking. By the time we had it figured out, it blocked it again. And so we went to, then Paxton Patterson was having problems with it. So it was like, okay, switch us off to something else. They switched us to Game Maker. It took us a little bit, Game Maker, to kind of correlate with the technology area with Harnett County schools to get that through and get everything there. And by the time they got that through, the ad blockers were kind of getting in the way. So they had to take the ads off to make sure we didn't see those, to make it a more clean, smoother product.
Yeah.
And then just kind of from there, they've been able to really, again, explore. Most of what they do is on platform, but if they want to do a shooting game, they could do a shooting game. If they wanted to do a puzzle, they could do a puzzle.
Cool.
And be able to kind of access all of those and legally and within rules actually play games at school.
Nice. Yeah. I love it. I love it. This is great. Walk us through. We're going to shift a bit just to the student makeup, that really, again, engages in these programs. Is it all of the 7th and 8th graders? Is it kind of a elective for them? Or I know it might be called a little bit something different.
You're good.
And, what kind of backgrounds are they coming from? Are you seeing that this is something that they're familiar with, or is it their first time experiencing a lot of these different disciplines as well?
Absolutely. So our makeup at Coats Erwin Middle School. So 7th and 8th grade, I see half the student population.
Cool. Wow.
So I'll see roughly 50 to 55, 56 students one semester, and I'll see the same amount the second semester.
Got it. Okay.
They really, more times than not, I'm having to tell people they can't get in the class.
Oh.
Because either we're capped or sometimes it's a student. And I mean, I'll be very straightforward with it. Sometimes it's a student that I look and I'm like, could I hand you a razor, turn around and not have to watch you? It's like, if I can't do that, you don't have a spot. You need to do something else.
I see.
And I mean, our principal over there, he's been highly supportive of that and very understanding, so we can run the lab the way we feel is best for the students.
Good. Yeah.
So I roughly see over half the student population.
That's big. Wow.
With that. Right. And so with seeing half of them when they come in, they kind of give you a little demographic breakdown. Roughly a third white, a third Hispanic, or like a little bit more than a third Hispanic, a third to fourth African American.
There you go.
It's
okay.
A general breakdown of it.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, very diverse population that we have. A lot of the labs they have next to no experience in. A lot of them they have next to no experience in. And then a lot of them, when they have that experience in there, they really come away with something different, or they show me something outside of it that I'm like, dang, Paxton Patterson ought to get a hold of this and try something with this. Like, they're on to something. And so especially the ones that don't have experience, seeing them go through it the first time and be just kind of like shy to it or being very reserved to it, as they build up the skills and as they build up the confidence with it, they just kind of like, okay, I can see myself doing this. And especially in culinary arts.
Yeah.
Like, you would think sometimes it's a science to make eggs, just to make scrambled eggs. And some of us look at that and think it's very, very simple. They take that and they're like, okay, I'm learning something. Great, on a stainless steel pan too. So you've got another added piece to that. And it's like, it's not sticking. It's like, the best part? If you keep it not sticking, you can do it over and over and over and over again. And oh my gosh, you made like 8 to 10 eggs. And I mean, I give them usually a limit of somewhere between 12 to 15 eggs that they can do.
Nice. Okay.
In that one period, once we've gotten started with it. And they just kind of build that momentum. But it does not matter. I mean, the race does not matter in any of that. Every kid that gets back there, they have that similar experience and they have that similar thought that's like, okay, I can really do this, or okay, this is something different. I actually didn't think I'd like this, but I kind of do enjoy it.
That's great. Yeah.
And we get the opposite too. It's like, I hate this. I don't want to see this again. It's like, good, you're done with it in 2 weeks. Or good, you're done with it in 4 days. By the way, you still have to do the narrative writing. Thanks.
Big time. Yeah, that's great. I actually spoke yesterday and I was telling the student audience over at Georgia Tech, I was like, sometimes it's not as easy to know what you want to do. In that case, start with what you don't want to do, right? Some people say, I can't stand the sight of blood. I don't want to wear a suit. So it's always, that's good to also provide that type of exposure so they can, again, just think through which direction they want to navigate to as well.
Absolutely.
And have you seen any or got any parent feedback as it relates to, hey, my student shared they love this or they really wanted to pursue it more? Are you getting any feedback at that level?
I am, yes. And they love it. They're glad that their kid has an opportunity to do something like that. So I do have a small cheat. I run carpool in the afternoons.
Aha.
I run carpool in the afternoons and I help them get them in first thing in the morning. So I instantly am able to get parent feedback.
That's great.
From them on them loving the class. I've gotten feedback from my first set of kids that are going, it's like, hey, now I'm in the foods class. Thank you for introducing me to the opportunity. Hey, I see why now you had this health science one. I appreciate the opportunity. And they're still thinking about the times they had in middle school to do that. And so backstory on another one, first semester we had the labs open. I had a group of, it was 14 boys and 2 girls.
Okay.
So I had a group of boys and like, they could care less about school. They could care less about school. There were, a lot of them were ones that's like, oh my gosh, how in the world did you teach this class? Like they were ones getting in trouble, getting out of school suspensions, in school suspensions, couldn't hang on sports team. The 2 girls, they looked and they were like, if it's not of interest with us, we're going to art. And I was like, okay, bye-bye, go to art. That's fine. Go there. You'd rather be there. Miss Wise accepts you. I got it.
There you go. Yeah.
But what we ended up pulling off with them is we did a French toast breakfast for the entire team at Coats Erwin Middle School. We did it for the entire team, and those boys really led the charge on. They were the second half of that 8th grade group. The first ones, they got to start, but the second group, like, they had it such down to a science. They were telling me what to do.
That's cool. Yeah, that's
Like,
what
they were looking through, and they were not afraid either. It's like, hey, Mr. Floyd, I need 10 plates now. Got it? Okay. Hey, look, hey, Mr. Floyd, those sausages aren't ready to go. Don't move them. It's like, they're not asking. They were just giving directions like, got it? Yes, sir, I'm on the move. And that, it ran so smooth as possible. We fed the entire team in 1 hour.
Oh, yeah.
And we did it off a little griddle and 4 skillets.
I love it.
And they were checking the temperature of every sausage. They were really taking time. We had strawberries. Myself, my wife, and I, we went and picked out strawberries and donated them for that purpose. And they were cutting each strawberry, plating them very well, making sure presentation was great. They had trays. They had they had carts where they were able to move down the hallway, stop at each classroom to hand deliver it to their teachers with a nice little pack of syrup, pour the orange juice right in front of them, kind of like a French style way of serving. And they did it. They owned it. Everything that I could have thought could have gone wrong didn't. Worst thing that happened the whole time in the batter, one of my students put 3 tablespoons of cinnamon instead of 1. I was like, if that's the worst thing that happens, oh, well, no big deal.
Yeah.
All we can do is just laugh it off.
Cinnamon, they're going to be extra flavor. There you go.
Exactly. And that was probably one of the most successful programs we ever ran. But I did it. A lot of it was done with those boys.
That's awesome.
And initially they were wondering like, oh my gosh, like, why are we doing this? Like, do we really care to? As they got going, oh, this is cool. This is cool. When the teachers recognized them, they came in the next day and were just like, we're the guys. Let's go. Let's go. We're like, when are we going to do this next? I was like, when you buy some bread and eggs and materials.
There you go. Yeah, come with the supplies.
It's like, you come up with the supplies. I can't buy anymore, man. And
That's
like those
amazing.
boys, like, and I hear it from them. When I go see them at the hospital, I hear it from them all the time where they're just like, oh my gosh, I'm glad we got the opportunity to do this. It's like, hey, I'm carrying this on now to do it, to being able to at least offer this at school, or hey, I'm cooking at home now.
Yeah.
And trying some different things. I was like, that's all it's about, man. That's all it's about, is just, again, having that opportunity. And those boys, like, that was a special, wonderful class where we looked at the curriculum and said, okay, we're not going to be able to follow this. You won't do it. I know you won't. So we just did stuff different all around the school. And they got more out of that than actually sitting there and doing the curriculum day by day.
That's great. See, that I found, impacting the belief system is the thing that just, propels way past the day, way past the school year into other facets of life as well. So that's amazing. Kudos to you there in that regard. Are you seeing, or have you had experiences where maybe students don't have any questions, but their belief system feels like they can't engage in this activity? Or, have you seen students that are shied away from certain labs?
I have. And most recently I had one, and I asked her to get uncomfortable, where it was the phlebotomy, and she didn't like the fact of having a needle in hand and dealing with blood. And I looked at it, I was like, you don't have to do the activity, but you need to try.
Yeah.
And worst case scenario, you look at it and you tell me it's so awful, you never, ever, ever do it again. She made her attempt. She worked the needle. She did the best she could. And she said, not anymore. So that's all I ask. That's all I ask. So I've had a couple who don't really care for the needle. I've had a couple that, like, there's one where we do surgical prep. And so they've got, what you would see what you would see with a surgeon, have those same exact things. That they were uncomfortable even handling those objects.
Wow, yeah.
And usually get away from that. It's like, okay, I understand. I get it. Or they find something that's too tough. They figure out it's difficult. I said, what's the worst thing you can do? What is the worst thing you can do? And it's like, screw it up. And are you allowed to screw it up? Yeah. I said, well, screw it up then.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. You don't know until you try it. So they do like to shy away from it, but we've built a culture there where mistakes happen. Mistakes are okay. As long as they're not egregious, like you're putting your best effort forward, make the mistake.
Yeah.
That's the only way that you learn from it. And I think we've gotten to a society where, especially, and to complete almost go off topic, when you look at college football and coaches and they can't lose but 2 or 3 games, they're going to get fired. We've gone to this thing of we need perfection or none, Where the reality of it is like you can't be perfect at something until you fail miserably at it over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And what do you need to get past it? A little bit of grit, determination, and the willingness to try something different. I feel like we have built that culture in the lab that they can try, they can fail, and they can adjust accordingly to go try again without completely killing my budget.
I get it.
Still gotta stick within budget.
Sure, no, and I love that resilience that you instill. I'm sure because I also have a little bit of a sales background. I worked at State Farm and in fundraising and insurance, and I can imagine how you're just thinking through, like you shared, you won't be successful until you just get over the rough patch. So going through it is the best way to it. Yeah, so I love that. And then you mentioned supplies around the eggs as well as a couple other elements. Have you found ways, or which ways have you found to maybe supplement if the purchase orders aren't getting in time? Do you have like community resources, or heard you even mention, you and your wife donating strawberries? Can you speak to some of the innovative ways that you've been able to continue programming in that regard?
Yeah. So I do run a fundraiser once a year.
Okay.
You run a fundraiser once a year where we do get those extra funds. And
Nice.
I mean, if it's a couple $100, great. If it's $1,000, great. And so that gets me fast tracked access to where I can make that order. And then working with our administrative assistant at the school, which Deborah is wonderful, wonderful lady.
Nice.
She gets that sent in, and usually I get that back within a week.
Nice.
If I need one of those. But also, like, I'll ask for an open purchase order and be like, hey, like the one I've got out right now is $150.
Mm-hmm.
I have spent $5 of it as of today, or I think $5, maybe $6. I can't remember, but I've spent that as of today. But I know that, well, later today or tomorrow, I got to go to the grocery store and load up.
Yeah.
So I have that open purchase order where I, can get the receipt later, and that allows me to work that culinary arts side out a little bit. I also have an open purchase order with CTE that I can go with that, and that funding just went up with that. So like the eggs, so like the stuff within the lab I use with that, but then the stuff like supplemental wise or stuff that I want to do different outside of it that still involves that culinary arts piece, I use that funding for that or for anything for emergencies.
I see. Yeah.
With that, and to kind of give you an idea, I have, thanks to those boys, so go back to the story, thanks to those boys, our previous principal, Coats Erwin Middle School, she advocated for me to have something to where I could do that over and over again and make it a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a 36-inch Blackstone griddle at school that we can pop out at any time we need to, and we can be able to cook on that. And so sometimes I use a supplemental material for stuff like that to be able to do a little bit. We haven't done it yet this school year, but you'll have that experience out there.
Yeah.
To see something different that goes back towards the school with it. So that kind of helps. Sometimes people donate stuff. Sometimes every once in a while, somebody in the neighborhood, I ask for a very quick need. It's like, hey, anybody got 12 eggs I can bring with me to school tomorrow? Or like, hey, does anybody have like these materials that you just don't happen to use, but you won't use them for a while to kind of go up and create with something supplemental. So, I mean, those are really my most creative aspects. And if all else fails worse, it's a few bucks out of my pocket, whoop-de-doo-dah day. Like, I end up benefiting from it in some way, shape, or form by putting back into the program. So making any sort of investment towards it, and we're not talking like thousands of dollars, but like,
Sure.
a simple $10, $20 investment, I'm going to get it back tenfold in some way, shape, or form. I already know that going in. So it gets to that every once in a while. But, I mean, those are mostly the creative ways that I've got it. But I will say, though, every purchase order that I've put in through CTE, I have not had a single one denied since that lab's been running. So they really, when I put it into what I'm supposed to, they take care of me very, very well.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. And I'm sure that's inspiring as well. Again, just to reemphasize or reiterate, we have a large educator audience. And so this is something that we want them to be able to listen to and learn from. Would you have any direct insight or even advice as it relates to maybe newer educators or those who might have had, less interaction with CTE and might be engaging in that space now as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the biggest thing, like being one of those teachers that's elective, you have a different set of responsibilities that goes there. And it's very different from being in the traditional classroom space. But at the same time, when you get into CTE and you get into something that's hands-on, a lot of people don't realize what funding CTE has and how much, especially, again, and I say it over and over, especially Harnett County.
Yeah.
the depths and the ways they go through to make sure you have everything in hand, the number of people and number of sources you have to communicate with to be able to get the items you need for your students to be successful. All you got to do is ask. Like, I'm sure at some point they're going to tell me no. At some point it's going to happen. I'm still waiting for it. But to go out there and get stuff, there's so much funding that's out there. And especially as schools are tightening budgets and schools are really restricting. My principal makes a joke not every day, but I hear it every couple of weeks, like #budget cuts. And it's always something about the budget and what's been retracted and what we don't have funds or abilities or access to do that we've been able to do previously.
Yeah.
There is a lot of funding with CTE, and there are a lot of things that are more motivating with CTE that really make a more direct impact on students that students understand versus being in the traditional math class, the ELA, the socials. And my wife's a social studies teacher, but even social studies, even science, there's a lot more direct paths that the students see that give them a little bit more of the instant gratification our society sees. Yes. And so heading into CTE is a great route, and really is one, especially from a teacher perspective, to be able to get more of that out there and feel like you're making a bigger impact towards students, especially those in which that they're going to go the route of a trade. That college is not going to be for them. Yeah. They would struggle in that environment. And instead of pushing that, you're able to push the trade. You're able to expose them to something that, quite frankly, they make more than a teacher. Up to the society, and especially the skills that a lot of people don't want to do. Like, you think of like an electrician, being a plumber, being somebody in HVAC. I mean, there was one of our directors up there, Stephen Hamby, was talking about the fact that there was a kid from a high school, and I can't remember the school, that he did a contest, was offered 3 offers right out of high school. Yeah. To be an electrician. Each one of those offers is more than my salary today. See, as an 18-year-old kid, more than a teacher's salary can walk away from a program, from something that you learn from your high school teachers. Yeah. Like, that's the pathway that a lot of these kids are looking, especially in rural areas. That's a lot of those pathways that really truly engage those kids, and say anybody that goes into CTE, come in with an open mind, but also come in knowing that it is not meant to be pure direct instruction. Yeah. It is meant for them to really use their critical thinking skills and really think their way out of it, because once they get to the job force and once they get to being that adult and responsible adult, they have to figure it out, not necessarily on their own, but they got to figure out how to find those tools, how to find those resources, and work their way out of it. And so you've got to be able to trust that ability that they will be able to work it and find their way out of it, and not have to spoon feed them. Yep. And be there, as I said, CTE, for never teaching what I went to school with a day in my life, CTE has been one of the most rewarding things that I've taught, especially in Harnett County. It has been extremely rewarding every single day. That's amazing. Yeah, because it sounds like just naturally what you instill in each individual is that critical thinking, right? Whether it's traditionally seen as computational thinking, they have to identify what resources do I have, what resources do I need, what's the objective of the day, and that's what life's about. And then to your exact point, see, I served in the military. I know a guy who got out a little early and was still about 20 years old, but he was a welder. I know that's something that you all offer, and he's making great money. Closer to like $90K. I'm like, wow. Yeah, that's about right. That's about right. That's about right. But not many people have those skills. Mm-hmm. Not many people have those skills, and so knowing that there is a demand for the trades right now, and getting out there. I mean, there is money to be made. There is a way that they can get out, especially if they start getting especially if they come from a house, which we're a Title I school. Yeah, the kids have free breakfast. The kids have free lunch. They come from that area where, their family is at the poverty level. It's their best way to escape poverty. Agreed. To be able to turn around and provide for their family and be able to give back for their family for all the time and investment that they had with them with their own child. Like, it's the most rewarding career field that you can almost see instant gratification without having to jump through a bunch of hoops to get through it. Shoot, I've jumped through more hoops as a teacher than I would if I went, electrician or welding or plumbing, or even in sales. where you talked about sales. Anybody will take a salesperson any day of the week. For
Yeah.
teaching, good night. You better have 4 years waiting ready to go get that degree, to go get your licensure, to get all your references checked, to make sure that everything you said about college is what truly happened, going through the course. And then you still have 3 years where you're a beginning teacher and have to have that additional support.
Wow. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's, again, we're in the world of instant gratification. The trades are able to do that. That's where CTE comes in.
Yeah, it sounds like you're saving the day. I feel like I have a pretty solid like kind of vision and grasp of what happens in your classroom. So again, I very much lean towards the CTE type programs and really just again building individual competency through that hands-on learning. So yeah, this is definitely a testament to how that takes place as well. Before we depart, I'd ask anything else that you want to leave with the audience, whether it's the students, the families, the teachers, any of the stakeholders, anything that you want to share, leave with them.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I can tell you the community that I'm part of, Coats Erwin Middle School, Dunn, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic community. As I said, again, when I initially took the job, it was almost as in a joke. It's like, okay, this was going to be a placeholder. And we went from placeholder to being a part of the community to really interjecting into the community to now being like, okay, I live 25 minutes away from the community, but we go out to different things there because we have a really good family. We have a really good team in place. And so I would say for the students and for the parents, teachers aren't perfect, but there are a lot of aspects that are out there that are great about our education system that you really need to find and really help find a way to get your kid involved with those. With the teachers, not every place sucks. There's a lot of things out there. There's a lot of things out there on social media, and there's a lot of feelings, and there's a lot of, there's a lot of animosity towards teaching. And I think one of the greatest things I heard from a presentation was that teachers are the celebrities. They just don't get paid. It's very true.
I like that.
It's very true. But there are a lot of great environments just like the one I'm in with that. And then with our stakeholders, I mean, we have a wonderful lab in place. We have a wonderful administration in place. All three, our principal and 2 assistant principals, absolutely phenomenal. Our CTE director, the ones that handle the career development coordinators. They're right now our new middle school career development coordinator. Fantastic individuals that are around there. They're all willing to help, and it all goes back to the purpose of why we got into teaching to begin with, is to make an impact in students' lives. And so if you're that person that's still making that impact in students' lives, I appreciate you more than you realize. But even our stakeholders too, you don't realize the impact that you truly make on kids today. And our lab, like I've had several visitors in that lab the last couple of years. Our lab is always, get your background check figured out, but our lab is always open and welcome to any visitors for you to see that organized chaos go off and truly see what our kids do. And I promise you, it's not a dog and pony show. It's just what we do normally. And the kids are nuts. The kids are wild. They express their personalities very well, but I wouldn't want it any differently.
I love that. No, that's just the lasting change and impact that needs to happen in each environment.
Exactly. And we're always up to something. We're always up to something. It is never still. It is never dull. We're always up to something. That's my key motto for me in the school. I'm always up to something.
Yeah. No, I love that. I saw that in your preview. So again, Mr. Baine, Mr. Floyd, this has been great. I appreciate just not only your enthusiasm, but your vulnerability and even the beginning of the conversation, as well as just, again, the intentionality behind your work. For those listening, tune in more to the District Dialogue podcast. If you'd like to learn more, visit our website, community, spelled CXMMUNITY.co. We'd love to hear from you. If you have any suggested guests, by all means, reach out as well. Again, Mr. Baine, thank you for your time. And this has been great.